Altadena, Fort Laureate.
First about
Let's go.
Let's just go, Peter.
Let's just go. Okay, where are my writers here? Please look like you're getting ready to write something. I'm gonna stand here between the poles of our magical guests today. Paris is a marvelous dancer. As you can see, he's making me stand straight. Because I got that attitude vibe. I got slump shoulders. I'm 7 years old. So why are we here today? I want you to think not only out of the box, but out of the hexagon, out of the circle, out of space, out of mind, out of body. I also want you to think in all of those things as well. So what we're going to do today is just listen and feel and watch, and we're going to write. And think of ourselves as this beautiful magical realm where in a minute, 1 minute you hear this sound, next minute you might do what?
Let's.
What's a pirouette?
Pirouette is a turn. So it's just a full 360 turn.
How do you not get dizzy? Always.
Spotty.
So, can you do it one more time?
Okay, so what the spot is focusing on something in front of you and keeping that focus as you turn. So here and you're back down. And of course that can evolve and you can do more turns. You can always keep that focus here. And so, painting on the floor,
Right.
more or less.
So, what's your name again? Elias. I want to ask you a question in a minute. Do me a favor, Al.
Yes.
Just play a little thing. And when you're ready, just move a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a question, so I need you to concentrate, okay? Okay, go. What's the first thing that comes to your mind after seeing and hearing what just happened? First thing. How? Write it down. Okay, here's the other question. Why graceful? What was graceful? Okay, what particular thing about the dancing was graceful? One thing. The movement. Okay, my old head poets. Go with graceful. What was graceful about what you saw? We don't have to raise hands, it's not public school.
Arms.
The arms. Do you agree with that, Elias?
Yeah.
And did you see what she did? She couldn't even say graceful without doing what? Could you do that gesture, please? Or they just similar? What does it do for you? My Miss Pat, dancer.
Yeah.
What does that do for you as a dancer and as a creative artist? Okay. What you got your coat on for, man? Cold. So, did you write graceful down? Okay, go ahead and handle that. Hi, over there, how you doing? What's your name?
My name's Allegra.
Allegra? What's your response to what you just heard and saw? Can you write that down or something similar? I need you to do. Okay, writers, 45 seconds. What you just saw, get something on the page or on your phone for my 21st century. How you feel?
Open.
See what I'm saying? So what is the purpose of this workshop? It's to do that, be open. It's to feel with all your senses. So writers do this all the time, of course. But I think today what we want to do is really pound home the invitation for you to feel with all your auras and your 5 and 6 and 8 senses, and what I call your 6 seance. I want you to channel through your imagination. But of course, we're poets, and so we ask you to write. But we don't want to privilege poetry as if it was so magical that you can't see, first, you can't even see the instrument as a poem itself. If you know the history of somewhat of how steel pans were turned from oil drums into musical instruments, first, that's poetry in itself. It's a cultural poetry. But also, you say, whoa, what does that mean? So you think about oppression. You think about how people respond to oppression. Or maybe when you're not, how old are you, Mike? So maybe not at 10, that's not your doorway. But when you're old here, like me, and you've done tons of years of research and homework, you say, Man, that's beautiful, isn't it, Eli?
Yeah.
What's your brother's name? Az, right? Az? Azai, Mr. Azai. Isn't this a beautiful instrument? It's just pretty. Now, he's not showing you the rust on the inside.
You guys should see this one. There's a lot of rust in there. You should see that.
That's what happens when you be killing him.
Yeah, playing at the beach and,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
So let's see, who else is in? We haven't heard from some other folks. My friend with the red mask on, what's your name? Kesa, can you express to us some of what you were feeling as you heard, watched, witnessed the movie?
Being aware of the edges of sound and edges of the body and the energy traveling through, sometimes jagged, and then sometimes like smooth.
If I ask you, could you see that movement and exchange? How would you answer?
Fractal. Fractal.
So please help us understand what that means to you so that we can get our sense of that.
Patterns of the integer scale.
Are you a dancer too? Could you stand for? So when you say fractal of different movements, could you give us an example as you witness what you said?
So having to curving and then curving and the fingers turning smaller and then expanding back on.
Yeah. You don't get chills yet. I mean, okay, maybe I should tell you this is an interactive workshop. You cannot hide from the facility. Carl, did you have a thought as you were witnessing?
Draw like very badly, and then reading to something underneath.
Ooh. Say that part again.
Reading to something underneath.
So the actual movement is hinting to you or implying something.
Yeah, that there's something underneath, and it just has a certain kind of, not underworld.
Under this.
Really sublime.
Ooh, I never use that word. Sublime.
You don't use it?
I never use that word. Say that again. But we're looking for the sublime. Come on, y'all. Who's getting chilled? I'm getting chilled.
You've got a coat on you, so chill.
I know. It's cold out. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay. Molly Dutton and Mr. Is that Mr. Dutton?
This is Mr.
Doing. So I'm gonna jump over y'all. Ms. Dutton is the founder of the Altadena Poets program here at this library. So we have living witness in history. Thank you for coming. And so I'm gonna jump over our founder's vibe. Hi, what's your name? Jean. Jean, could you stand up, please? I promise you, I'm not a preacher, but I do love gesture from Preacherville. So could you tell us a little bit about what you were experiencing?
Mary, but our John
Oh, please.
a cathedral of soaring sound, of extension, the reach for worship in this sacred space. We are pilgrims.
Oh, okay, stay right there. Stay there, please.
Amen.
Mr. Elias, right? Could you stand up? I can do these. I can feel the power coming. When you said the word graceful, would you define what graceful is to us?
It's like slow movement, like you're swimming.
Okay. So graceful, would you please read something say your name again, please? Jean, could you read something in there? You don't have to go from top to bottom, but Mr. Elias just asked us and told us about graceful. Can you read something in your thing? Pull out the graceful part.
In the sacred space.
What does sacred mean?
It means like it's special.
Cool. Everybody with us?
Yeah.
Is it boring yet? Are you ready to go home?
Yeah.
So let me take a break. Thank you, Jean is right. Okay. Okay, let me do a check-in. So ever since Carl and I began to talk about, actually, thank you, sir. You can sit down if you like. Or you can stand if you like. So essentially, when we started talking about this, the big question has been, well, what is a synergies work? Would that be fair enough?
Yeah.
To recount?
Like that was like, yeah.
Well, this is a synergies work. All we're trying to encourage and invite you to do is get beyond. So typically in the poetry world, this is called what, Dr. Rankin? When you're writing for another art form, the big fancy Greek word is praxis. So typically, that's what we're doing when you're writing a poem. So if I'm watching Paris move like this, or stand, or gesture, and I start trying to capture that. Part of me is just trying to say, what am I seeing? I'm seeing her hands gesture how? Come on in here, man. Come on in here. And as she moves further, I'm trying to capture the movement forward. So there's a formality to ekphrastic observation, which is not a problem. But I'm not trying to just write a formal fact report about her movement. I'm trying to get, if you'll pardon me, hold your hand up, please. I'm trying to get where the gauze is. Can I get a witness? I'm trying to get where the beads start clicking fire. Because as she gestures, something just, I'm listening. So already I'm talking about observation, sight, one sense. Listening, sound, another sense. Then if I move my angle, I may inhale. Oh, she's splashed her skin with peppermint maybe. And suddenly that sense is activated. Y'all with me? That's what a synergies workshop. And while we're here today, I'm going to do a little business. I'm going to ask you to look at our website and invite you to write new poems. And we're going to encourage you to go out over the weekend to Beyond Baroque, to the Southern California Poetry Festival. And we want you to be citizens of, creative citizens of our larger community. We want you to say, well, what am I missing in Altadena? What music is being played? Where are my dance collectives? You know, what are the churches doing? What are the, where's the natural room? I'm biased. Where's my natural food spot? My left wing natural food spot. You know what I mean? Who's doing what in Altadena? You know, how can I learn more about this geography, this history? That's a synergies workshop. How am I living gracefully as a fellow creative citizen? This is what this is all about for these next few minutes. You know what I mean? Where are we at? Is that clock right? What time is it? How are we doing? 11:23. That's our first half hour. We're not playing. We're not playing. Frown. Thank you, I thought it was just me. Okay, so I want to come to my front row for a second. Oh, always the one who's trying to hide. So please, Danny, give us some responses to what you heard
Some to what I heard.
and seen or whatever, what you sense, I guess.
So I'm thinking about two things while this is going on, because I get both from the word and obviously the dancer and the way the music goes is this whole sense of motion. And I was inspired by Kat, who's here doing something she's afraid of. And I was like, I'm going to do a kind of drawing that I'm afraid of and I
What,
And it-
okay, let me interrupt, please.
Yeah.
So you said you're over there drawing?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that, but you said two things, I wanted to interrupt just for a bit though.
Did I?
Okay, go, please.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it's called gesture drawing, and the whole idea is to try and capture not the form, but the movement, which is hard for me, because you're drawing a still image on paper and it doesn't move, but trying to create that feeling, the same way he does with his music, when it shoots up and down, all he made was the sound, but you felt it go up and down. So I'm thinking about that and trying to do that. The other thing I'm thinking about is the dancer and the forms that are where she isn't. Like she'll put her arms in a way and there's a space between those arms and she makes an object in there. I'm trying to think about the things that are where she's not, that she created space.
Okay, stand up, please. All right, so question first,
Yeah,
did you draw something?
yeah, no,
Okay.
don't make me do it.
First things first, come bring and show it to the dance.
Okay.
We don't even want me, we not even look at that.
I'm not looking.
Yeah. Okay.
I can get all the movement.
Oh, wait a minute, did the dancer say she wished everyone else was?
I'm sure that's what I heard.
What she said is, I wish she was in peace. You heard it wrong.
Okay, there you go. I think you do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the kindergarten thing.
He's not here, there you go.
What's the unit on the screen? So we can see it. What's that?
Oh, God, man. My last workshop.
Yeah, you always think again, it looks-
Oh, yeah, oh, that's beautiful.
I know.
Turn it up there, Danny.
It's better blurry.
Okay, keep it up there, Danny, please.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, first the question is, did this guy draw this like off his top?
Yeah, no, he already had it in the same book. It was already excited with the body into that.
Draw that, you know, right, he had the Starbucks, you know, right here. Hold on a second. Miss Polly Dutton. Would you look at that, please? And share with us what you were thinking about as you observed the movement and listened to the music. Just hold it. Danny, can you get a little stable? Open that joint like this. Stop.
When I was your age.
Paulie, are you there, Miss Dutton?
I have,
I never called you Paulie, so I apologize.
that's fine, I love Polly. What I observed as I was hearing the music and watching her, what I got was a lot of movement and I observed my body going into ecstasy. And I just fell in love with the music and the sound and, I was imagining things growing and moving in the wind and then dancing with those things, with the flowers and the grasses and the petals and the leaves and anyway, just it was, but then now when I'm looking at that,
Yes.
I'm feeling like a holding of a nest, a holding.
I'm sorry, holding
A
around.
holding, like a nest,
Yes.
holding something precious.
Or Go to sleep on? It's all good. You put it into trash. That's what I like. But you, I'm sorry, would you tell me your name again? Gene,
Oh,
you said would you read your sacred line again?
oh, I said in this sacred space.
Right. Are you seeing sacred here and stuff?
Yes. Something love.
Wow.
I see babies.
Okay, Daddy, thank you. Go, jump in. Oh. That's why we have four laureates.
Image of writing music is actually there's something I feel. Like I feel a wind, I feel the sort of a breeze from this movement. And it's kind of somewhere between a breeze and that. And it's part of the whole curve of that movement, which you captured, so. And we know that you two, that you drew it.
Now, before you abandon us, is there anyone else who wants to respond to Danny's art rendering?
And I just want to say it looks kind of like tendrils, you know, like something extending and reaching. So, but the herbaceousness of it, it's sort of a little voluptuous, but it's like that. Like something in nature that's just.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, is that Miss Vivian? How are you? Come on in here, please.
To me, it's very feminine and warm, and it's like a uterus on the side.
Might want to put that. Could you say what you said again, Miss Vivian? I didn't hear that last.
Uterus folded, warm. Angle. Side view.
Oh, I did that.
Oh, right.
Baby.
There you go.
And baby was very, that's from part of the.
Yeah, I used to have this friend, George.
Okay, so let me do a little consolidation work. So in the space of the last 10 minutes, the kinds of words, the kinds of dimensional interpretations are what we're after as poets. And in my opinion, in a humble opinion, but well sort of studied vibration, is that the more you embrace the distinctivenesses or the distinctions of what you're sensing and experiencing, the richer your vocabulary gets. So I should tell you that as we get into our workshopping part, like where I'm not going to literally ask you to spend 10 minutes or whatever to write, there are 2 taboo words you cannot use today. And they are
Heart and soul.
thanks. So when we get started on that, I mean, you shouldn't, well, sorry, you should, but I'm saying we're hoping. So if you're jotting ideas and riffs, if it's words, if you got the word heart on the page, scratch it out. And if you have the word soul on the page, scratch it out. And I'm gonna add a third. If you have the word spirit on that page, scratch it out. What we want to do is have you fight against your tendencies. And boy, poets sure do love heart and soul, don't they? Lord have mercy, do we love heart and do we love soul? Now, if I never hear another poet say heart and soul in my life, it would be too soon. So I am officially announcing as the co-poet laureate of Altadena. Only because we have children in here, when remember what my mother taught me. I don't want to ever hear personally another horn with heart and soul. In fact, if you can't do it better than Smokey Robinson did it, you probably gonna fail anyway. But on the absolute real, here's the sort of aesthetic and conceptual reasons behind what I'm saying. Is if I say, if you do one of those movies that you do, and then you would do, like right now, what would you do? So if you just, how can you look at this person and just say, oh my God, my heart is open? Isn't that weak? But look at this person. Look at the posture. Look at the love for gesture. You know what I mean? Y'all with me? Just look, this is a trained professional dancer. Now I'm gonna keep moving just gently at your pace. I like to do this because I want everybody to know who writes and creates that this is hard work. You don't just roll out of bed and write a poem that's lasting. You don't become a magical dancer because you went and watched the old episode of Soul Train. You study and you listen to your body in this case. You just reduce this particular woman's movement vocabulary to something like heart and soul or spirit. Well, the real challenge is how do you get through those words into a whole new vocabulary? That's your vocabulary. That's different from Mr. Dutton's vocabulary. That's different from Ms. Thelma, Dr. Thelma's vocabulary. And what are you hunting for, if not your own vocabulary, as a writer, as a creative artist? If you're not hunting for that startling set of, juxtaposition, the excitement that sparks you into whatever movement is jumping, your whole body's moving anyway. We're literally vibrating 24 hours a day. When you get down to the physics of the whole, right? So what we're doing is inviting you into the all, capital A, capital L, capital L. Not, my heart is moving. Okay, I'm being harsh. But I have reached an age in my life where I don't hold back much. I don't think I held back much in my 20s, but I definitely held back. But harshness aside, let's say you are a writer who's been published and you want to get published, and you are on your third or fourth or fifth book or something. Well, your eighth book shouldn't sound like your first book. How could it? Why would you even want to? You don't have to be like Miles Davis, who like literally said, I never want to play Someday My Prince Will Come ever again, after he made changes into a whole new shape, musical shape. Fair enough? You don't have to be that hard on yourself, on your, what's that word? Oh, how do you pronounce that word? The O-U-E. I never learned how to pronounce it. I gotta go to a friend.
Oh.
You don't have to jettison your whole historical body of work like somebody like him. But for him, he said, I don't care what I sounded like in 1959. It's 1974. I want to change the way I sound. That's a genius on top of genius, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because that's somebody who's like hearing stuff every which, sort of like Danny's drawing. It's like, one minute is and he's holding, like, he's cussing and drinking and drugging, and plus he wears some hip suits back in the day. But even if you're not at that scale of innovation, shouldn't you be embracing the pull of walking down the street? And all of a sudden, you say, oh my gosh, I've never seen a person move like that. And so as a result, you grab your pen and paper, but if you settle on, oh, just the facts, ma'am, or my soul is moved, blah, blah, blah. It is as if she hasn't even appeared. Because you're really not, you're just using her as a prompt to do what you always do. And that's not creativity. That's transcription at the very least. You know what that word means? Transcribe. It means if somebody had recorded what I'm saying, when they're playing it back, you would just type what I said. That's not poetry. Poetry is listening to what I say, ignoring it even, in order to make sure you're writing something that no one else could write. By the way, how did we prepare for this workshop? Why not prepare? Fair enough. When I called these brilliant folks, I simply said, I just want you to be in a room with me, Carl, and you guys, whoever's here. What note is it? What key is it in?
I was gonna say, I thought he was, yeah, right.
You'll go with me. You know, I mean, you heard that a few seconds.
Let a siren go by.
That's okay. So what am I saying? Let me just do a quick check. This is what I'm saying. So we're at 11:40. But let me finish this thought, and then how about we just take a breather? Because our artists have been on their feet. Let's take a breather. Let's take a 5 minute, and then we'll come right back in and I'll give you some prompts. No. But we'll just get you started because we don't want you to sit here and just see. We want you to write, and we want to hear back from you. But I do want to just sort of finally and resolve with this. Mr. Ozzy, is it Azai? So how you doing first off? You not ready to just run out of here in total boredom? You okay? Almost. I was a serious pregnant. Another thought, by the way, the importance of space and silences within your artistic testimony. You know what I mean? You have to know when to pull out of a poem. Because we're so used to, I'm getting on the soapbox. So too often I challenge, particularly my younger poets, or I provide them a challenging invitation to get off of the mic, to get out of the spotlight, to embrace anonymity, to imagine your anonymity as a cocoon instead of you just not being famous. And to study by listening, to study by showing up at other people's readings. And I want to really just make sure that you understand when I say synergies. I almost said, when I say synergies, you know. I didn't grow up hip hop, so I don't. But I want to say, when I suggest synergy, I'm suggesting that you just keep yourself open. You know what I mean? I was joking about the code. I didn't know you were chilling, but in a metaphorical way, I'm saying, remove the overlay. You know, like Carl was saying, let the various energies and whatnot get under your skin so that you are in engagement, active, energetic engagement, imaginative engagement with your art form.
And then the beautiful thing is, once you have that art form and you read it to an audience, they're taking the information and it's. It's just like you're interpreting what's going on here. Your readers interpret it. A poem becomes a whole understanding. So it's read by someone. And I love that. Like you might have a really strong intent on a poem, but whatever that person makes, that's the beauty of poetry.
Okay. Front row again, before we take the sort of cycle out, we don't have to leave or anything, I just wanna, we'll just resolve for a minute. But let's check in with our two colleagues on the front. You've heard a lot now, so give us a response of some sort, please. Whoever wants to go first, do that.
Okay, well, I did write a little piece.
Okay, come on with it.
It goes. It was. This sound from the stars that lay atop the air I live and breathe. It took me away. Lost behind a thin veil floating atop the same air from the heavens. I've been arrested, captured by the moment, and I surrendered because it is all air. It was.
Sweet.
Wow.
Okay, man, you know, also, I forgot your name, say it again.
Wait,
Wade, so Wade. Start with the line, I was arrested, like, just go back in. Skip over everything else and just start with, I was arrested.
I've been arrested,
Okay, my bad, sorry, I messed up your grammar.
captured by the moment, and I surrendered because it is all air. It was.
Not a bad little short poem, would we agree?
We would.
What's happening in there though? Because first, if you call it was or whatever, you don't need all that preamble. What happened is where the point is what I would suggest. But the synergy is what happens. Can you feel?
Yeah.
Okay. Beth, did you want to jump in here, please?
So two of the things that I've been thinking about so far have been, one, the idea of to emote, the definition means to move through.
Say it again.
The definition of emote, like emotions, is to move. So what our emotions do is move, and what the music does is move, and what the dancer does is move. And how to link all these things together, and how all of it, the dancing and the sound and the emotions are all responses to like an unnamed, unsayable thing that lies underneath all of it, that we're all experiencing. And it's feeding off of all of our different energies and what we're saying, what we're hearing, and we're seeing. And also like the idea of gracefulness, that one of the definitions of grace is an unearned gift. That this is a gift that we're giving to each other. That is also a movement, that is also.
Who's ready to just change seats? Let's take a 60-second stand. And if you want to change seats, change seats. It's 11:47. So we have a window that goes to 1 p.m. But I'd like to invite you to stand. If you want to shift, you don't spool. And then we want to push back on each other. Would you? She's hiding. Okay, can I do that? Can we get you to do that? Just for a second. I know we have some folks. So my friend in the orange sweater, if you come back, we got you. You're trying to sneak through this. I see. You're not late, you're right on time. Okay. Yeah, support. So,
This is my lowest note. It's one instrument. And
it goes like. In 2 minutes. Yeah, you can read the musical time. Yeah. So we hear, back and forth. This, we don't have. Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, well, I mean, it's so straightforward. But it's not for days. I have about 40, so I have about half of that. So this is middle C on the piano. I've got equal on it.
Now, what blows me away is at some point in history, someone looked at an oil drum and was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, well, I think I just don't know if you noticed, that little kid that you're talking about is the one that made this particular instrument right here. That little kid that you're talking about, the kids on the island of Trinidad started this art. They started playing just pots and pans, right?
Making those micro adjustments, 2 hands in time.
Dude. Most of the time, not all the time. Fortunately, you don't play. Right. No, not earlier. On the first one, you didn't heard that. Yeah, I've had some embarrassing moments because they're all handmade, right? Everything's handmade. So when you get a new set, so it's right here on this one, But if I get it made by somebody else, it's kind of right here. So your muscle memory, when you go to strike that note with that intensity, it's like, but it's really that other note. Oh, it's all it's like, I've had some definitely, I'm playing somebody else's instrument, and I think I get comfortable. Everybody, all the band players know that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Thank you, Beethoven said, you're playing the wrong note. Not what things playing without note.
There you go. I'm gonna stand with that. I'm stand.
There are different.
That's it. Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's, I mean, someone put the wrong.
I actually liked it. Did you like it? I actually liked it. I heard it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, like, almost like, like some minor. That's what goes to the middle. Yes, that's right.
She's gonna love that.
Yeah, she doing okay?
Yeah, she's actually selling over here at the Huntington today.
Oh, she gonna sell.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. This thing is beautiful. Well, to my fellow poets, so sorry we're not doing this like y'all used to.
Tell by that giant smile.
Tech Laureate brother, could you put our journal up on the screen? Please? So Carl and I are gonna do a little business now in terms of our season and upcoming events. I just grabbed one for the next one, which will be in January. And super excited. Carl, would you want to?
So this is a workshop. I hope all of you come and tell your friends about it. It's by an amazing poet, writer, director of movies and hit sources released at the Maple. And it's on poetic forms, but it's not like poetic forms that we feel constrict to, but it's more about how to learn how to structure can actually free you up, and how to learn the forms and then break them. And I just wanted to kind of rebel against descriptions, but I found that learning the forms and then adopting them as breaking them, is tremendously creative. So that will be on January 21st from 11 to 1 on Saturday. What else do we have coming down there?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
then what happened? Carla will be featured in February with 3 other poets.
Yep, 3 poets, Marika Mikhailo, Romaine Washington, and then you're gonna hear some TV. For Mayfield. So it's also kind of to learn a little bit more about the organization. And so yet, with this maybe not encouraging women and female identified writers to submit to the top journals. And it's an incredibly supportive organization, and the members are talented. So that'll be fun. Hopefully we can get that right. And then March is
Here's the fun.
close to Valentine's Day.
So we're gonna have readings by poetry couples. So partners, spouses, husbands and wives, wives and wives, whatever the configuration. And we're gonna have 3 couples. We haven't locked them yet, so we can announce. So that'll be March. What is that, March? 21st.
Thank you.
Hey, that's spring, right? Isn't that typically spring? And then we will close this first season out with a modified version of the poetry and cookies tradition. So this year, instead of having an anthology that's a printed collection of works submitted, we'll have writers who submitted to the Altadena Poetry Review. And this year, we created a new submission policy. And the policy is you go onto the site to something called the Synergy Portfolio. Can you scroll to that? From Technology?
Yeah.
Jump to submission policy. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I don't want words. I want to show. If you can go to just jump in. So you go to the Synergy Portfolio and click on it, and then you'll see. I think we have 13 art makers here in and around the San Diego Valley. Including musicians. So if you'll stay at the bottom, please. So, for example, this piece here is by Colin Connor, who's right here in Altadena, teaches at retired from Cal Arts, managing director of the Jose Limon Dance Theater Company in New York. And this is some of his work. His spouse is actually a dancer, teacher, choreographer. We probably will upload a video of her when we get it. He's still looking for it. So you can just scroll. I just want you to see the range for a second. If you could go back, please. Just back to the page with the images on. So click on, please, the blue sky one real quick. So this is a musician. This is Carla turn this on the jump. Moves a roll. Muzzle rolling on there. So you'll see excerpts of his music. You just listen, and if you want to write something new. But just keep, if you just scroll back, I just want you to see the range. So yeah, there's Viviana right there, pal. Could you stand, please? So range of work, just go around. So you go and look at this Viviana's artwork, and then you just synergize with it, which is the whole point of today.
Well, also, if you write something in response to what we did today, stuff out.
Exactly, you read my mind. Oh, yes, wait, so,
Could you use multiple pieces?
yes, you can,
Yeah, and you can send me one more.
that's right.
If anyone, suppose this kid is in April.
April the 29th, I think. Yeah, April 29th.
And it's traditionally a big event here, so if anyone wants to volunteer for that, we're accepting.
Your volunteer calls. Well, and also I will not physically be here. I have a residence in Washington, D.C. in April, but I'll be zooming in.
But it takes about 20 people.
See, that's trash talking. So that'll be our season. We haven't figured out what the next season is, but the next season will culminate with a poetry and cookies event, and it'll be an anthology. Right. So there you go. Now, Okay, so that's our businessy stuff. So what's exciting about this, at least to me, as an old head doing this stuff, is there is nothing right, wrong. I talk a lot of trash, but any way we can help a writer write better, thumbs up. I'm a longtime volunteer member of the Anansi Writers Workshop in Leimert Park at the World Stage. And when we started in the 90s, our workshop got so vital to people's practice that people would rush and race each other up on stage to read and workshop a poem. That's how serious the love of craft was, and the love of wanting to sound distinctive was for us. So, and if we didn't do music, it was just, so I'm my own foil. As a walking, talking, living, published author, you know, I get bored with stuff. So I want to stay excited about all of this stuff. And so I do push myself. And I say, Alan, come and play me something. You know what I mean? I say, Paris, come move with me. Because it makes me a better artist. It makes me more supple and fluid. Isn't that embarrassing that I'm doing this? When I have you
I'm embarrassed.
You should be. I have no break. That's like Trump waving. Oh, yes. That's what I look like. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I just want you to know, yes, even the laughter and the joy is absolutely part of that energy exchange that you, please tell me your name. Kesa was talking about earlier. We want to see, I think poetry has the capacity to reflect what I call full living. So when we're young, maybe we get our heart broken. And we were, oh my God, I like 400 poems. She left me, and that was one I wrote all. So what I want to do now is everybody in here. Oh, yes.
Season 1, the anthology is online, correct? Okay,
But it's not an anthology. It's just.
it's the or the collection.
So yeah, the contributors to the online review will be reading instead of contributors to the anthology.
So at Poetry and Cookies, the readers will be of the online, correct?
Who've been published this year in the online review. And we're about to publish our first 5 poets who have submitted a total of 13 poems. 2 of which are in. So Thelma, our former laureate, what year is again, Thelma?
Laureate 2014, 2016.
How? Could you just stand up? Just need to see the, and she's so stylish.
Yeah.
That's how we met at the grocery store. We just stood there and talked about 40 minutes, like, well, poetry and, you know, peppers. But it's fit so well. That's so cool. She's really local educator, revere her. So, in fact, you didn't know this, but in fact, Thelma, you were the first person to embrace the new submission policy and submit. So thank you for that. Carl, I don't know, Carl is right. I'm struggling with something, but
Okay, so I just submitted.
I just saw it.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, we haven't started reading yours yet. It's all good. The deadlines are as graceful as Paris's handbook. And then Ms. Flores is here, Sarah Flores, right? Could you just stand? We just accepted her work. And she has never published a poem. Well, so something, another journal. I think we were first though, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh.
So we're very excited to have her in the mix. So here's what we want to do. we want to do a fractal of what we did earlier. But this time, I would invite Paris to start with movement, and then you follow in when you're ready. And this time, as you observe, we need you to start writing something. And we want you to, everybody to just embrace the experience. And I don't know, we won't tire out our beloved here, but we want her to just start moving, and Alan will observe and vibe, and then he'll synergize with you. And we'll figure out what the resolve is. So it's on our colleague from the dance world. Did you hear some words that come out? We will. I know that's your vibe.
Yes, you know, that's me.
Oh, well, I think that's great. if people want to call out.
It's the word.
Oh, you saying?
I'm saying inspired. Let's
Oh,
get it
can
all together.
I just witness on something for a second? Huh? You ain't gotta move yet. Okay. I hadn't even thought of that idea. So just to be clear, so y'all are already clear, let me get clear, because this is a new technique. So you're saying as she moves and then you want people to actually
Say a word, say a phrase, and then see how that affects us.
What?
It's back and forth.
What? That's genius, man. But then, no, seriously, I haven't even vowed on that.
Take that.
But then I will also, and you gotta keep writing as you throw it. I'll call you every gig. Okay, then that's gonna be the living prompts prompted by your living vocabulary. And then spun back into your notepad, phone, whatever. But we'll do it. So just keep that going as long as we are doing till y'all resolve. Okay, so it's on you, Mary Hill.
Breeze calls.
Bending air.
Surrender.
Frenzy, fight.
Fingertips straining to break the clouds.
Ecstasy.
unreachable. Out of the tunnel.
Effortless. Fulfillment.
Charming pride. Bursting pomegranate. Gypsy. Nonetheless, arise. Yearning. Beseeching.
Harris McCracken.
Yes.
Algernon Blackburn.
Unrehearsed.
Okay, so first, just cold thank you, not finished, I just, we don't want to hold praise. Okay, writers. Let's hear it. What comes welling out of you? Let's share some examples. First, let's hear it, And then maybe we'll do a teeny bit of workshop in vibration, but let's hear what you witness through the word. Who wants to, no, Thelma, come on. Oh, this,
Right there, there's fun.
oh, of course, you can come in if you want to. People can see you on the camera.
Yeah.
All right here, so.
Thank you.
Thelma.
Yeah.
You wanna come up and-
Fingertips straining to straight the house. Diaphragm sleeves, curling in bliss. Shoulders swelling and ease and heartbeat. Toes pumping, resonating moment. East, west, in between. Nails with weaving fingers. Head to crowds and gods. Eyes intent on what has been. What she's been. What she's done. All of those bending, her body now.
Follow that. You don't follow.
There are people that wanna follow you though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's gonna make it.
Okay. The colors in between the tears of my youth kiss the steps I walk along. I may never again see the water crash against the same shore, but my pomegranate flame will continue to burn all the same.
Okay, come on, who's next? Somebody share, please. Ms. Flores? Come on up here. We don't care how much it is, bro. We don't do excuses, we just share. Come on, synergize, come on up here and synergize with.
But not knowing how, bending the veil, there's fear.
A little airy, little pumping.
Ready to get, but not knowing how, bending the veil, there's fear.
Anybody next? Oh, Miss Dutton, please.
Jumping, I see it. Dying, I return to life. Stretching like an eagle. Creating, swirl and tap dancing. Everything's too much. Hiding, opening, falling. Earthing the Sierra. Jubilating, capturing. Now searching again.
I knew you were coming there.
Effort hides blatantly under layers of faith, and attitude reaches to extension, and edges are thin and attention, are spirals in space to unfold.
To what?
Unfold it. Unfold.
Oh, info. Okay, I couldn't hear it. Could you read that one more time?
Effort hides blatantly under layers of faith, and attitude reaches to extension, and edges of thin and attention, are spirals in space to unfold.
Anyone else? Oh, please. Madam Jean, come on through.
I don't mind if I do. For vernacular, a geometry of planes and parallels, Swedish fall, rising, elevating, vibrating, defining space with transparent boundaries, incipient taps of precipitation, now gentle, with a bush, effortlessness, the shell protecting the reaction, the soft shell with feathers, taking flight, vanishing.
Reach, share, and delicate chaos. Atomic strength, resilient, relentless, stretching but not breaking, order and disorder, wholeness.
That's too rich to be paid like that. Save it out of it,
All right.
please.
Okay.
That's right. Come on.
Reach, share, and delicate chaos. Atomic strength, resilient, relentless, stretching but not breaking, order and disorder, wholeness.
Words, you know, love those words. Anyone else? Man, come on, raise your hand.
Reach to the call, this breathless swan.
Okay, rage.
Reach to the call. This breathless swan struck melody home to the breeze of century. Then the air around the face he lacked touch. The madly play gravity's gut skin. Surrender into the spin that keeps the world still. Push through the wall of air into the stream of sound that wings over the sea of night. Heave the consent of thoughts and fill the air with high vibration of lightning, moving like intention to the floor of our wings split between the worlds of sun and shut. We lift the near ones to the veil. Everything knows a season of years to drought all that happen. Beat the iron into the field of sun.
Oh, you ain't getting what you ain't getting. You know, she ain't kidding. If you need some music, call her up.
And he's ready to go.
Gitana, gypsy, into eternal, then light. Earth, jewel, she scratches out of it. Then swims into through air. Osmosis, she we meet, break through the veil. Gracias.
Great. Who else? Danny?
I'm right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pat.
Yeah, except if there's no light there.
Oh, it's like, watch me show you.
Boom. The future.
Yeah.
Holding the air, so taken by the window, the wind, raising the earth, swimming in space, to find the roots of existence, the presence of ancestors in water and wind, the wind of air, water, and earth.
Yeah. Thank Apple. Mr. Dutton, are you joining us? Okay, just checking in with you. Okay, I want to actually now, hold on, where are we at? We're 12:30. We're gonna go all the way to 1. Then I'm just feeling 1 o'clock. Artists, could you capture, could you capture in words what you were feeling and have been feeling just in response to what you're. Yes, absolutely.
Connection, first off. Our connection and then everyone's connection. My heart was open, my spirit, my soul.
Get him out.
First one I thought was an accident.
I would say that I felt exposed, but also supported.
Yes, I like the vulnerable kept coming up in a lot of people's writings, and that's what happens. Kind of that nurturing spirit that came up in the art and in the writings also. That's when you are vulnerable, you're looking for somebody to nurture, something to nurture you, and that's those words rang through.
Vulnerability and.
Could you play vulnerability and what?
Vulnerability and exposure when you want to be there. And at the same time, you feel support and strength from that support. That is just a wonderful root to create.
Wonderful what?
Root.
And the word you used earlier that you didn't repeat was protection. Which I thought was very good. Vulnerable, so if you feel protected, you can be vulnerable. One of our teammates from World Stage, her name is, her name used to be Wendy James. She used to say, safety is the first aphrodisiac. Isn't that a term or phrase? Her name is Chico Sase Aje. If you ever see her name, go see her. She doesn't get out much these days. I don't know why. She's one of our marvelous unsung poets in the region. While we're on this subject, that was marvelous. Thank you for it. Did you finish? Have you finished?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to come back to you, Alan. See, this is exciting to me too, because you write music and compose and arrange, but you are an improvisational musician, as we're seeing. But I'm talking about like literally, you can stand in the middle of a big old ensemble with almost no rehearsal, and then the next thing he's I'm gonna give you love right now. I stood next to him in the middle of a huge ensemble on the stage, and he's just listening. And he knows women. So I wish you would talk about that process for you as an artist, as an improvising musician, improvising artist.
Put me on the spot. It is something that I enjoy doing. So I'm constantly, whether it's in my writing, which is, very thoughtful and sitting down and, that I'm still trying to be aware of everything around, every sound, all of the senses, as you were saying. So when I'm in a situation like that, or like this, where I really do, I'm just trying to be aware of the space at all times, the space, this whole space, this room, whether, Altadena, the world, whatever the space is, I'm trying to be aware of it and my place. And it's not my world. I'm in this space. We're sharing this space. And so I'm always, maybe it's personality, I want to put my 2 cents in, but I also want to hear. I also don't want to, I'm not going to be the one most of the time that wants to do the whole thing, because honestly, I don't enjoy that. I can do that in my living room. When I'm here in the space with other, providing people and, souls, sorry. Then that's my chance. That's my chance to receive. So, one of my mentors and somebody that I look up to, who is a steel pan composer, great man by the name of Ray Holman, Trinidadian composer, arranger, steel band. But he said, we were all at dinner at some point and talking, and somebody at the table was really just talking, very entertaining person, we all had a good time, But Ray Holman, older gentleman, he kind of took me to the side and said, yeah, so-and-so had a really good time, but he talked for a half an hour, and that half an hour, he learned nothing. So to me, I really stuck with him, that's right. So I want to always be learning at the same time. So I can't learn if I'm the only one. Yeah, so that's my approach. That's really.
I love that you say that. I do a lot of improvisational theater, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know the difference between a good show versus a bad show. And a good show is the one where the actors are on stage listening to each other, being aware of everything that's going on, and they're sharing the space. Right. Versus bad theater, which is you have a couple bad apples, and it's everyone who's trying to be the center and focus. Once they start doing that, all of the magic ends because it becomes singular instead of.
But now to go against that in one way, not against it, really. Completely. Sometimes though, that role is, we need the 3-point shot. They need somebody, we need some juice. And then I gotta be the one, I'm ready to step in and be that, for a moment. And now, okay, we're all back. Okay, we're back. Now we'll do this. So it goes both ways. You gotta take the shot.
Yeah.
When it's time.
You just, I wanted to, I'm gonna ask you a second question. So I've been, lucky enough among my art administration jobs to be a manager of a dance company. And it's an Afro-Brazilian dance company. And, I've watched, the lesson I wanna throw into the mix here is two things. One, we're not asking you to check your virtuosity at the door. So when you're dancing, I'm getting out of your way because you're a virtuoso at what you do. Every gesture represents how many years of training? More than 20. You know what I mean? At any moment of your movement, you're channeling what?
Channeling expression first, trusting that my technique is going to support you.
Yes. And what technique, back to Social's upcoming workshop. Form, it's a form. So when you do that spin where you're looking at a particular point, that's a technique. So that you don't, I guess, fall out and kill yourself. But I'm saying you learn that, right? But the way you're gonna do it in a given piece depends on your self-expression. Is that fair? Am I right or wrong? So we're not saying check your virtuosity. We want your voice. We want the particular voice. Whether you've never published one poem before, or you're an editor of or a founder of a poetry book. We want it all. That's what Synergies can do. Back to the dance group. So there's something called capoeira. So there's a circle, they call it, it's a holder, they don't pronounce, I don't know. You get in the middle of it, but it's also with the dancers. When they circle up, everybody's holding the rhythm, but then somebody feels it. What do? They step up, give me the ball. And then they jam. But they don't keep dancing for 30 minutes, if 30 minutes. Well, in fact, it would be an absolute insult to the circle. So you only stay in the circle as long as you are bringing your virtuosity. But if you start repeating yourself, I'm doing the same thing. No, The cultural mandate says step back when you've exhausted your virtuosity. Why? Because when you have killed that samba, forgive me, you step back, but you may have inspired Paris's, and then she steps in and says, she's picking right up where, well, not me, but where I left off. And this is what we mean by synergy. It's not fancy, everybody knows that word. But whenever you plop something in a new context, guess what? You plug in new energy source. So you can even use heart and soul if you plug in a context.
That's the spirit.
As long as it's surrounded by context and vocabulary, that when you read it, you could never have read that word heart. I'm still gonna probably like myself, like, what the heck are you saying heart for all that stuff? But my point is, just as a form can be a creative constraint, a taboo word can be a creative constraint. So I never will use it. If I find the word hard in any like older forms, if I'm editing, they go in the string. I can't, they're not, there's none left for me. Period. They're just, I won't do it ever. That's just, but that's me. That's my thing. I'm told that Patricia Smith has something like 700 taboo words. I haven't seen the list. You've seen? I'm waiting to get asked my phone. I recently, I said the same thing. I have not seen the list. Yeah. So all we're saying is we want to embrace these creative tensions. Fellas, a line in your draft was something about chaos. Did I get that right? Or was it something? Somebody said, oh, you said chaos. Could you read that line that has the word chaos in it?
Don't ever use that word.
You did a punch throw there.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just put off for you. Okay, yes, please. Oh, let me just ask you to stand up. Okay, so now we're gonna edit a bit. I'm gonna just set the stage. Imagine you start that piece with that. Just say it as if it was the first line of the thing. Let's stop there for a minute. Are you feeling? Can you just see the potential? Where might it go? How is it currently drafted? Say your name again. Allegra, can you, so read it as it's currently drafted. First 3 or 4 lines.
Share a delicate atomic strength, resilience,
Okay, my bad. First, was I wrong? Was share a delicate delicate, was that already the first line?
No, there was one word.
Gotcha. So read it as
Oh, I
you
see,
draft.
as I drafted it, sorry, okay. Read, share a delicate chaos, atomic strength, resilience,
Okay, now me as an editor, I would say make the title reach. And then start with that more resonant line. Share a delicate chaos. Yes. Can you do a delicate chaos? Okay, actually, but there was something, Thelma, in your form that I thought was buried, and I want to just, could you just read it again? I'll see if it jumps at me again. And I might jump in and interrupt, but if you just read it slowly.
It's fine.
Just the top, just read it down. I think there was something I was like, where is that, like that bird? That I want to see.
Fingertips straining to scrape the clouds. Diaphanous sleeves to lower your wrists. Shoulders level and easy collective post pointed to the reference line. East, west, in between, tailed with weaving fingers. Head to clouds and gods. Eyes intent with those pen. Perfect pen. Focusing. Then to the bottom line.
I think it's that resolute long line. Did you read that?
Toes pointed and resolute long line.
Okay, let me just stop us there for a second. Super visual too, by the way.
Yeah.
What's the current first line? I know these are all drafts, I'm just ripping. them.
Fingertips straining to scrape the clouds.
Okay, stop for a second. Say that line again and then do the resolute. Just juxtapose it with the resolute long.
Fingertips straining to scrape the clouds. Toes pointed and resolute long line.
Okay, let's ask, which one grabs you? Here, just which one does work more?
Toes resolute.
Why, in your opinion?
It's visual and it has movement.
Mhm.
I feel the movement is. You push your toes up and then go down.
Okay, okay.
And the words.
So either way works for you. Okay, no. Anybody else?
I was gonna say, I think both Allegra and Thomas poems have this kind of, delicious tension
Yeah.
of, opposites. And, I really like that, you know, just like atomic strength.
Yes.
Or
Oh, we got
resolute,
that. Yeah.
you know, like that's really delightful.
Yeah. Now, I want to push back a bit and say, either way, the fingers and the clouds and the toes. So as I suggested earlier, on one level, that's sort of a who, what, when, where, and how type journalistic thing. I am seeing a professional dancer do this thing. Oh, and then by the way, since I'm a poet, I add cloud straight into the cloud. So I'm creating tension in my response. So is there a way to get the resolute longing and the cloud scraping without actually nailing fingers and toes? So is there poetry within the absence? So the sky is up there, but the resolute longing, what if you put that in the sky? And then maybe you let a title do some work, or, Paris dance. I mean, whatever, I'm just playing right now, but I'm just get my point. So what I would encourage us to do, myself included, is when you know you've nailed it, back off of the head on the nail's head. No, the hand on the nail.
Yeah, never build a habit.
Never build it out. You gotta do that. So I would say, let's get a few more examples. I heard, first recommendation. Look at terms of phrase like resolute, longing, circle them, highlight them in some way. So you get that delicious tension. So both Beth and Jean came almost fully, what's the Medusa energy? Who comes out fully formed? I can't remember that. A thing that comes out fully formed. So they came out fully formed. But Jean, I want to come back at you. And now I'm going to ask you to look at what you've written and go to something that is a delicious tension for you and bring that into our senses.
I guess I'll take something like, defining space with transparent boundaries.
Okay. So now read it like you love it, Cause she was like, oh. Peter Hansen, read this, but.
I got it fine.
So, yeah, just take a deep breath on it, Gene, and just bring that line.
Defining space with transparent boundaries.
You see the invitation? We don't know where we're going. Now grab a second line from there. Don't tell us what it is yet, but just go that first line to the next line.
Well, how about her vernacular of geometry of planes and points?
Now read them both like you love. You just been Cinderella on the second.
Well, her vernacular geometry of planes and parallels. Defining space with transparent boundaries.
She went on poetic. They flipped the order. Why did you flip the order?
It's like a commutative law or something, you know, like maybe they can work like that, you know, like that. It's opposition.
She said community has law.
That's all I learned in math.
It's a community what?
In math or something like if it's like, you know, if it's 3 + 2, it's also 2 + 3. It's, yeah, that's.
There's some witnesses of it. I'm thrilled that you said that. I'm thrilled that you did it. So that's the point at work. So she's like, on one hand, I'm saying she's gonna do I love my point, first off. She's really in love with it. And I'm saying, well, don't fall in love with the work. Fall in love with the work to make the work. Can I get away? And you fought me for just a subtle set of seconds. Yeah, they have to down. But, and that's fine, because the poet should fight for enemy. Or the process of grappling is a process. It's a resolute longing. But workshops demand that we get rid of our ego. You know, and just say, I love the work, but I'm not so in love with it that it can't be changed for the better. What's better? When it starts snapping and crackling along the various planes, what did you call it? Who said the planes and
Tissue.
see what I'm saying? All that planes and whatever. When all that stuff gets illuminated and you're writing it, for me it's chilled, literally. Or particularly I'm writing a longer piece. If literally it makes me cry or react that way, I said, oh, okay, well, I know I got something. Okay, let's check it real quick. What? It's 12:54. Oh my gosh.
Might be time to. Might be time to ask them.
Let's go. Yeah.
Some folks ask questions already during the break, so.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Carl, for that. I'm done.
You're playing these drums, it's just so exciting. Can people buy those anywhere?
No. Yes, they are available. You could find some, the best way to do it is to talk to somebody like me. They're all handmade still. They've tried mass producing them, you know, machine shop, and it just doesn't work. Yet, who knows? So they're all handmade. So you really want to find somebody reputable that either has one that's in pretty good shape or will make one. There are some people around that I know that are builders and tuners and people that just have them, you know. So yes, you can, not anywhere.
I can just imagine somebody reading their poem and going,
That's right, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yes, I have.
That's exactly how we met. Yeah, well, he's one of the most sensitive, companies.
Absolutely.
And to dance, do people ever sing when you do that?
Oh, yeah, definitely, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, Ms. Dutton, over on Lake at the African market, I think the name of Village something. They actually sell little versions, of it, or they used to, I don't know. So,
If you go up on beyond what they've got, those three outlets, go right there.
Left side.
right, yeah, right in post. Okay, so I don't like resolving, talking about post office. So,
Fair enough.
we're gonna resolve this workshop with poetry and music. And very gentle, yeah, and he's already wrapped up, so you know. But I want your hand. in this. So, this is a poem I'm gonna read. It's called Tide. And I'm just gonna, it's for Durf Reclaw, who just saw one of our master musicians in LA. So I'm just going to improvise a little bit, and then you come in, and would you just let me have your hands along? Thank you guys for coming and participating, so we really appreciate it. Men and music, dancers and music and friendship, levitated by sound emanating with no coercion. Rise and listen and witness. Damp in a nod from pianist resolving a solo. Trash talking fingered into beatitudes on upright bass. Saxophonist awakens breath haunted by anger. Exhilarated percussionist collages suppressed votes, memories of sacrifice, glint of grace, prophecy in action. This is the real me. Hey at the door, ephemeral threshold, come as you are. Seekers of transformation. Brave ensemble suspended over quicksand, quilting civilization, outing ascertainment, tithing immortality. Aerating our irrelevant walls, just so we hidden into unrehearsed slow light of an improvising band. Come on. Come on. If you're not on the mailing list here at the library, please join it. Yeah, actually, so be on the main mailing list and be on the poetry mailing list. So that way you can make sure. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please enjoy the rest of your Synergies every day. Parents for cracking. Helen Martin like this. Yes, go on. Take Laureate. All right, y'all, thank you.
Remember that?
So, does it feel good?